And action. Welcome to another incredible episode of the Action Podcast. We're on episode 118. And today on tap, we have Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. We also have a Real Pain, which I think he won the Golden Globe for that or got nominated.
I think you won it.
I think he won it, yeah. And then we also have Wolfman, which is out now.
Wolf.
And Wolf,
Wolf
Wolf.
man. Not Wolfman.
Yeah. Yes. So with that, Pete, let's get right into Den of Thieves 2. A little quick numbers first, and then we'll get your reaction. But
Go ahead.
this, of course, is the sequel. Um,
To
I
what?
I absolutely, yeah, to Den of Thieves.
To Den of Thieves. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I absolutely love this movie, the original, and that one had Pablo Schreiber as well. And if you haven't, for some reason, seen the first one, check out the first one. It's not necessary that you see the first one before the second one, but obviously it makes it a lot better.
It,
Uh,
it yeah.
yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
This has a 6.6 on IMDb, and box office wise, this had a 60 meta score. And box office wise, this had a budget of 40 million. Worldwide, it's grossed 35. So it'll ultimately make its money. But you know, I think it barely just started doing worldwide. So we'll see. The numbers may pick up a little bit, but yeah, let's get into it, Pete. What are your
What a
thoughts?
shame. What a shame because this is a great original franchise. And enough people are kind of like latching on to continue this process, but I'm really hoping that more people get involved in the Den of Thieves world because what they did with the first one, this was a throwaway movie. The first one, like
Yeah,
nobody cared about this movie. There was no marketing behind it. There was nothing behind this movie, and yet it was done brilliantly to the point
massive.
where I was like, this is an amazing movie. This was one of those movies that you see on a list and you watch with the expectation that there's nothing good about it
Yeah,
and get ready. And meanwhile, it blows you out of the water.
yeah,
And then they had the they had the wherewithal and the development and the creativity to say, here's what would happen next. And then they accomplished that with this second film because how they left it off and where they started off is it's pretty seamless. Now I have my critiques of the film itself. However, I love that they were able to take this original amazing idea and continue it on and have it be just as amazing. I think that this two movies deserve more recognition than they should actually have gotten because
yeah.
it's really well done. Um,
I think this needs the classic like Netflix boost.
right.
Like I don't think a lot of people have just heard of these movies, to your point, and I think you're spot on because to me this is a classic 90s heist film. If this was if Michael Bay or Bruckheimer was involved in this, or
Oh, it would be all over the place.
yeah, like to me this is a very good. This is in the line of the Sicarios where each one is like I'm waiting for a third Sicario, which I hope comes out, and I hope uh this one, spoiler alert, this one sets up for a third one.
Right.
I mean, you could end it, but that it just seems like there's a bigger third one here,
And if
and
you were smart, you would make it phenomenal.
yeah,
Like
and
put the
and
time
invest the money.
into developing that third one.
Yeah, because this one, by the way, this is we're 6 years after the original came out, and so
And
actually
there's
technically seven.
and there's nothing to sneeze at about this thing. It's not like they did something and it's like, well, I'm not really sure. It's like they've progressed this storyline to the point where you're like, okay, I'm still on board.
Yeah,
And that's key.
yeah,
Because if they would have come at this with a different point of view, then nobody would care about a third movie. But they've at least set it up where it's like, okay, this all makes sense. This is Empires, and how are we going to get to Return of the Jedi, right? Like we
yeah,
know that there's a payoff, so let's go. Let's make this something amazing.
yeah, and going back to both of these films, you know, Big Nick played by Gerard Butler is really just a character you want to watch, a
Who's my
character you want to follow.
doppelganger, by the way.
Yeah. But we've been mentioning on this podcast a lot, and it just seems like whatever Gerard Butler is working on works. And
Right.
he definitely
Remember
continues.
Plane?
Yo, Plane was great.
Remember nobody cared about Plane, and
Oh
meanwhile
yeah,
it was phenomenal?
yeah, Plane. What was the one? Was it called Greenland?
There's Greenland, which was
Greenland
also
was,
very good.
yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, dude, I actually loved Hunter Killer too. That was
This
a,
guy just crushes. That's what he
yeah.
does.
And this might be my favorite character of Gerard Butler, even over 300. I mean, 300 was good in its own reasons, but
Yeah, but that's iconic.
yeah,
That's
pure
a different
character
level.
wise, I'll take Big Nick over anybody. So um,
Right.
now I don't think, and I think it's impossible because it is the second one. I don't think you can do what you did in the first one so good. However, I do think they're setting up for a masterful third one. And so I like to your point, if the proper time is put out, I could see the third one being possibly the best of them all. So I'd be really
I
curious.
agree. This is certainly a franchise, a potential franchise in the future that you should start now. Watch the first one, watch this second one for sure,
Yeah,
because and my gut tells me there's going to be a bang third act to
yeah.
this whole story, and I can't wait. This is going to be amazing.
This is what Fast and the Furious could have been had they invested into, some sort of
Storytelling,
storytelling. Yeah,
storytelling
not
as
just
opposed to
CGI.
visual effects and ridiculousness.
Yeah, because that's the thing that really stands out on this one is how minimal. If I mean, I don't even know if there's any
And they
CG.
made 10 of those with no story.
And they all made incredible money. They,
And they made a boatload of
they
cash.
made more money than both the movies combined.
However, you have a movie like this, which is very thoughtful and well
Yeah,
performed, and you can see potential for it. This could go on forever if you did it properly
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. You'd have to do some things, but yeah,
and have value.
yeah. I really like with this. Again, obviously, guys, check this out. If you haven't seen the
I love
first
it.
one, I want to say the first one's on Max. Um,
I think so.
yeah, so check it out. Again, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. All right, let's move to the next one, Pete. The next one you can actually find on Hulu, and it's a real pain. And this one is the darling of the Golden Globes.
Oh,
It
is this on Hulu? I had no idea.
literally just came on Hulu. That's how I was able to watch it
Ah, it's
because I
so
wanted to see it in theaters, and
I
then
was able to catch it early on.
yeah,
I'm 2 weeks holding my thoughts on this movie.
there you go. So yeah, you can check it on Hulu now. A real pain. This has a 7.2 rating on IMDb. Obviously, that's very good. This is actually written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. I didn't know it till literally the very end.
Oh, really?
Who also stars in this along with Kieran Culkin. And then it's actually nominated for two Oscars. Kieran Culkin in the Best Supporting Role and Best Screenplay by Jesse Eisenberg. So again, if you're really into the Oscars, this is one of those movies that is going to be a darling of that. 86 Metascore, which is phenomenal.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then
And we also got Jennifer Grey, who's in it from Ferris Bueller fame.
this made 14 million so far worldwide. So I don't know what the budget is, doesn't
Which
say,
is
but
shameful. Shameful.
I can't imagine. I mean, it could be made for 10 million, so we'll see. But Pete, why don't you start and then I'll go.
I got to tell you, like, I heard about this movie 6 months ago, and I only heard that Eisenberg was making a movie, Culkin is in it, and it's about, revisiting their Polish roots because of the Holocaust and their grandmother and stuff like that. And so I immediately I mean, I love anything that era in terms of cinema. I could watch anything that has to do with World War II. I don't care the angle, I'm watching it. But the fact that this was an Eisenberg written and directed, which I knew prior to, and then I found out that Culkin is a part of it, whom has just crushed Hollywood because of just his Succession performances alone. Um, I watched this movie with a lot of expectation and a lot of hope, and I received everything that I put into it prior. I got back tenfold because this was a fantastic movie. This was a movie that not only resonated on a historical level, but if you look at it just as performance wise, Eisenberg is his normal self, but he adds some twist to it. Culkin is phenomenal. Culkin deserves the Oscar because I know they just released the nominees
Yeah.
either today or yesterday, and Culkin is nominated. He needs this Oscar because he deserves it. He's a phenomenal actor, and you need to get away from the old Home Alone image of him with the glasses because this kid is
He's drinking more than milk in this movie.
he's drinking more than milk in this movie.
Wait, is it
He
milk or is it Coke?
knows Coke.
Coke, yeah.
He blew my mind in this movie because he covers the normal like here's how what I think Kieran Culkin is as a performer, and then he goes above it, and then he scales it back to really kind of bring you in on an emotional level to really get you into that relationship between him and Eisenberg. And even the supporting cast really plays a great job. This is one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah, I so again, this is on
Phenomenal.
Hulu now. I did do a little bit of crack research here, and so the original production budget 3 million, bought by Searchlight for 10 million, and it made four. It's at 14 right now, so that's good news. Um, uh,
Yay.
and for me, this movie reminded me a lot of a movie called Treasure, which that was a I think directed by Lena. I know she stars in it, Lena Dunham, but she takes her father
Ah,
back to Poland. So kind of similar, where it's like a family going back to like you're saying, going back to Poland and seeing their roots. And yeah, man, I really like just the kind of the exploration of both historical, but then also just dealing with your own feelings and what you're going through in life and how that can kind of crash into each other and sometimes allow you to go through your own emotions and process them in a different way.
but also both of their different personalities clashing at the
Yeah.
same time. Like that added another element
Oh
to
yeah, for sure.
the entire storytelling. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just brilliantly crafted.
But what I liked about this too is like imagine you want to go on a trip somewhere and then they make a movie about it. And so you're also like really able to just kind of go on this tour with them. So it's kind of cool in that respect too, because it's almost like a free vacation, where you're just again able to experience a trip that we may all want to go on, but then you're watching it through someone else's eyes. So it's really well done in that way too.
Also, it's also a very interesting way to look at, there's been what, 50 years plus, 60 years, 70 years
Yeah.
almost in between that tragedy versus where we are today.
80.
And I think they really captured what the approach of a young person going to a site like that, like what would it realistically be? Would it be one of sorrow or would it be one of, hey, we're on a vacation and let's experience something? I think they
Yeah.
captured the difference and then they also paid that off as well emotionally. Like
Yeah.
they didn't just, it wasn't just a vacation for them. And so I think
Definitely not. Definitely not.
they captured like what the modern person would experience going to that event and then what they would actually experience in real life. I loved this movie.
Yeah.
Paul, I gotta be honest, I love this movie a
Yeah,
lot.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I was really glad that it's on Hulu, because I was able to check it
So
out.
good.
So definitely check this out. Again, pay attention this come Oscar season. Well, it's already nominated, so I guess we don't have to pay
Culkin.
attention. Yeah, but he did win the Golden Globe, and now he's going to go for it on. on the bigger stage. So we'll see.
Team Culkin, right here.
All right, next we have
Let's go.
Wolfman, and this is a Universal film. So this falls under your classic monster movie type thing.
Right.
And if you remember, a few years back, they wanted to do this expanded universe, the Monsterverse, and they started it with Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe was Dr. Jekyll, um, and it started with the Mummy, right? They spent way too much money on that. I actually thought the movie was okay. I actually enjoyed the movie and was really looking forward to this kind of Monsterverse, but they spent too much money and didn't make enough, and so it
Mhm.
quickly got scrapped. And they moved on. And then a couple years ago came out The Invisible Man, and what they did was is basically Blumhouse took them over and when obviously worked with Universal and made basically a real legit horror film out of it. And so that's kind of this new direction they're going. So this is basically the second one of these movies. This one obviously called Wolfman. You know, uh, I don't really need to get into the premise of this one, but the one thing I did like about this film is that they kind of have kind of a historical background to it. Obviously, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's irrelevant. I just like setups like that
But
because
that's my problem. This the setup was too long. I will watch it because I don't have an opinion about this movie yet, but I only got to a certain point.
yeah,
I I need to get past that point because if this is part of a bigger universe that you're talking about,
no,
I
no,
had no.
it's not part of a bigger universe.
Oh, it's not.
No,
Okay.
no, no,
Because I
no,
had no idea that it was like part of like this whole
no. That
thing.
was the original idea, and then they went on
Ah,
to these smaller.
got you.
Yeah,
Got you. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try to get past the point that I got to.
like I said, this to me, if you liked The Invisible Man, this kind of falls in line with that. I was actually did not love Invisible Man.
I didn't like it at all.
I like this more than The Invisible Man,
Oh,
but
good.
this is what it is. This is it's not a long movie. But basically a guy gets infected and this guy is returning to his house to pick up his father's things and then gets attacked by the Wolfman. And it's chaos ensues and they need to escape, right? Um, this got a 5.9 on IMDb. Yeah, that's probably what I give it as a six.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
maybe
six.
maybe even slightly below that.
Not
5.5.
horrible, but not great.
I didn't. I had an okay time. Like I said, this is not my cup of tea.
Sure.
But I
I
thought
think my problem is that I got like 20, 25 minutes in and I'm like, what is going to happen at this point? So if you're telling me right now on the air to keep pushing forward past those 25 minutes, I'm happy to go back and revisit it.
I don't know if I'm going to go that far, Pete, because I know you. I mean, like I said, this has a 5.9. So I'm not pushing anybody in the door. I think
Right.
to me this movie
Well, then
is
I'm not going to do it.
what it is. Like
Right.
this is a genre film. This is not going to blow anybody out of the water. This is not reinventing anything.
It's no
Um,
Den of Thieves 2.
no, this movie has a $25 million budget. It's made 18. I mean, that's what this movie is. This could have maybe blown up and got money, but I don't think it's just not that amazing, if that
Right.
makes sense. But it's streaming. It's probably okay to watch. If you want to go to theaters, the sound obviously is pretty good in this one. Yeah, I mean,
There you go.
yeah. So take it for what it's worth. I'm not necessarily recommending anybody to go this
You're
or
crazy.
not telling you not to go. So take that. 51 Metascore. So, like I said,
Yeah.
it's a middle
You
of the
want
road.
to you want to sit in a theater like this and watch The Wolfman? Go ahead.
I mean, look, if you're going to see this movie, I think it's best in a theater because of the
Best in the
sound
theater.
and all
Sure.
that.
You get the whole experience.
Yeah, but again, AMC Pass, that's how I saw it. It worked for me. I saw it
Three
during the
movies a
day.
week, yo.
Yeah. So check that out. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us
AMC.
up for this episode. Next week on tap, we have Flight Risk, new movie directed by Mel Gibson, starring Mark Wahlberg. And then we also have on Netflix now is Back in Action that stars Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. And then lastly, based on a true story, it's called Unstoppable, about an NCAA wrestler. He has one leg and he competes for Arizona State University, and that
And
stars Jennifer
and
Lopez. I
does
forget
he
this.
accomplish
Yeah,
what
I
he's
forget the kid's name, but Jennifer Lopez is in it. Don Cheadle, Michael J. Pena. I might have thrown that J in there. I don't know if he has that
right?
in it, but Michael Pena. And
Michael Michael X Pena is
yeah,
so good in that
maybe I was
movie.
thinking of Michael J. Fox. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh, Michael Pena is also in it, so it's a solid movie. And this is also done by the guys that did Air, so it's the Artist
Michael J.
Equity,
Pena.
which is Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's company. They're the ones that
Right.
produced this. So, yeah, check those out. That one's on Prime. Like I said, Back in Action's on Netflix, so you can see those now. And then Flight Risk is in theaters now.
Right.
So we'll explore those.
Matt J.
Make sure
Damon.
make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And with that, Pete, that is a cut. Thanks, guys.